want to talk to you about stranger and the good guy. I was born in the Bronx. We moved away before I was 5 years old, or at least by 5. And somewhere in those early years, I had two best friends, and they were both in my mind, stranger and good guy. Stranger looked like this, and good guy. And I used to mediate between those two. They fought, they argued, and then Gregory came along. Maybe he saw me talking to stranger and good guy. Maybe that's what happened. I don't remember how we met, but Gregory became my best friend when I lived in the Bronx. Gregory was a black boy. I don't know if I thought in terms of black. I just know that we were so close to God, we didn't even know God. We just knew we were close. We were close to God because we didn't know prejudice. We didn't know the difference. We just loved each other. We hung out. I went to his house. You know, we lived in an apartment. He lived in a house, a nice corner lot. And I went into his house. There was his brothers, his sisters. They smiled at me. Maybe they thought I was a Martian. I mean, maybe they weren't used to having white boys in their house. We had hot dogs and baked beans. I loved Gregory, and suddenly we moved. And I thought about Gregory. We moved to a community called Edgebrook Cooperative, which is a subdivision of subdivisions. It was a community in itself. It was its own town, if you will. So all you knew was the people in that community. There was Valhalla, which is a country town, and North White Plains, all near New York. My father was in the garment business in New York City. And he didn't know anybody that wasn't Jewish. So he was home for the Jewish holidays. He worked for Fred Perlberg. He was a national sales manager. And I assimilated into Judaism. See, my family is Irish, English, my father, and my mom is Italian. And my name is Cole, though. And I'm Caucasian. And I completely assimilated into Judaism. I liked it better than the Catholic Church. I really did. Went to synagogue and went to the Catskill Mountains, which is known as the Jewish Alps. It was great. Still, no Gregory. My parents split up, lonely for a dad. I used to envision that Nat King Cole might be my relative. You know, chestnuts roasting, you know that one? It's so good, he sings it so well. And he died of cancer at age 45. I really grieved over that. But anyway, we're going through life, and life happens. I'm in college now. Martin Luther King is assassinated. What a shock. Why? And what I remember best about MLK's assassination was a little known, it was almost a sermon by Robert F. Kennedy. Robert Kennedy. He was in Indianapolis, and he gave the information, the news, to a number of black people, a small crowd, and it was raining. And he said in his soft voice, he said, Martin Luther King has been assassinated. And he spoke in a soft voice, and it was so compassionate. And you realize that he was feeling everything. He knew what it was like for some evil entity to kill a family member. And he said, you can go for revenge, or you could go for something that MLK would do. You'd fight the good fight, and you'd fight it nonviolently. Of course, I believe it was later that year, RFK was assassinated. Again, not a racial assassination like MLK, just another evil component. Evil, trying to control, kill, die. Well, evil comes in all kinds of shapes and forms, and one of them is cancer. Multiple myeloma came to my family. Wendy got multiple myeloma, which is a strange blood disease. It's a terminal disease, it's a killer. It was diagnosed in August of 2016. But 3 years later, it's 2019, it's March, and we're in New York City at a place called Mount Sinai Hospital. She gets into this experimental CAR T-cell therapy, and they get it all. To this day, 15 months later, there's no cancer, nothing. We go to Times Square Church because we spent 3 to 4 months in New York City in 2019. We go to Times Square Church, and there it is, Lofton. And Wendy and I go forward for the prayer. It was St. Patrick's Day, March 2019. They come over, they pray for us. Lofton, they became our best friends. We call them family. African American, but what's the difference? Especially at Times Square Church, you can't tell the difference. Black, white, Chinese, Hispanic, it's all the same. It's absolutely the dream of Martin Luther King. It's absolutely, it's all together because that is where it's at. And I envision, what if Gregory still lives in New York and he goes to Times Square Church? I went looking for him one day. Of course, I wouldn't know what he looks like. It's been a long time. On the other hand, what if I met Gregory and we got to talking and then Gregory said to me, Trump's a racist? And I would say, he is a bull in a china shop, but he's not a racist. Not at all. Yeah, no, he is, he's evil. Don't you understand that? Don't you know that Black lives matter? Well, of course they matter. White lives matter. Oh, you're a racist too. No, I'm not a racist. I don't even know the difference anymore. I was a child when I met you, Gregory. And then I grew up into a new childhood. I met the entity that's forever. Gregory, don't you know Ben Carson? He's on the president's cabinet. He's black. Clarence Thomas, he's black. Are you going to tell me that you're not really black unless you vote for Joe Biden? Come on, it only proves it's not race, it's ideology. And the ideology, sometimes I call it idiotology. The ideology is to cause us all to go into slavery. All of us. It's not just America, it's not a few states in the South, it's global. It's all over. And Trump's against it. He really is. And that's good. And I like him, and I like you, Gregory. Gregory, I love you, man. I want to experience a new childhood with you, brother. I love you, Gregory. I'm Dennis Cole. This is Narrowgate News. Subscribe, like, comment. God bless you.